Hey, I'm moving you up a bit. How's that? I'm wearing a grout fit, so I'm trying not to show that. Oh, that's crazy. Maybe it's fine angle. Alright. Maybe it's just grout fit day. What do you say? What do you say? I don't know, I can't place. I need a producer. No, I don't. Okay. Is that high enough? I could raise it up a bit. Okay. Alright. Grout was a choice. They were the sweatpants I wore most recently. This is what you get for coming here. You get a little pre-show banter. I'm gonna take care of my shit more. How's everybody doing? How's everyone's day? Cool. Me too. Do my neighbors think I'm insane, or do you think they just always think I have like a friend over and I'm constantly talking? Two things can be true. Wow, this is really fucking tangled. Okay. Bada bing. Bada boom. Are we in? Let me turn my sound up a bit. Microphone 1, check. Hi guy, wow that's loud. Okay. Hi guys, welcome back to Guy Set, a guy's guide to what should be talked about. First and foremost, I did get a haircut. Thank you very much for asking. I hit the thing. Let's start over. It's a little loud. Hi guys, welcome back to Guy Set, a guy's guide to what should be talked about. First and foremost, I did get a haircut. Thank you very much for asking. It's been about 2 months. I am very in between the time in which I get my haircuts. I feel like I used to, as a kid, get a haircut every single month or so. And now that like I'm an adult, if you can call me that, I feel like I forget to get a haircut a lot of the time, or I just like don't prioritize it. And then I look like a mop, and I'm like, oh, I should probably get a haircut. And the place I go to only takes cash, and I don't carry cash. Who carries cash? And I also don't carry my debit card around, which would probably make this whole situation much easier. But I realized that my debit card was expired recently. So I went to the ATM by the haircut place before I got the haircut, and my ATM number wasn't working because I didn't know my PIN, and I didn't have my debit card. But there's like a way, I don't know, there's a way like you can put your credit card in from the same bank, and if you put the PIN in, you can take money from the machine. I sound like a fucking idiot, but like I am sometimes. And I didn't know the PIN number, which I've now learned because I had to reset it. I had to call the bank. And I now am going to carry my debit card around because that would make this whole situation easier if I had that and if I had the number. So the haircut place only takes cash only. And they just raised their prices. That's not relevant to the story. That's just a fact. So I don't really carry cash around, and I usually go after work, so I should keep some cash in my work bag. And I started doing that, so now I can go get the haircut. So it's been like 2.5 months since I got my last haircut. And yeah, so thank you for noticing. Long-winded way of saying thank you so much for the comment. And I recently watched a movie. I watched a movie this past weekend called Saturday Night. And I did an episode like this on Good Will Hunting a few months back, and one person commented on it saying one or two people, I lied, it's one person commented saying that they liked the episode, and that's enough for me to come back on here and talk about another movie I really liked, and why it inspired me, and why there's enough of a reason for me to come on here and make a whole episode about it. And it may not be exactly what you're thinking I'm going to talk about it. If you know what it is, I'll explain it. If you don't, I'll also explain it. And tell you why. So, this movie, Saturday Night, is about the making... This movie, Saturday Night, is about the making of Saturday Night Live. It covers the hour and a half leading up to the first ever Saturday Night Live in 1975. I believe it was October 3rd, 1975. and the movie just covers the hour and a half before it. It's like the time is ticking down the entire time, and it is a fucking disaster. Like, that's the whole point, to show what it was really like back then, how much of a shit show it was, how kind of like makeshift and thrown together the entire thing was, and how all the odds were stacked against them from making this show a success and making it successful. And they recently just celebrated the 50-year anniversary of SNL, and they did like a bunch of different celebrations, but you don't really spend a lot of time thinking about the first, or how it came to be. I mean, you think about the first cast, but you don't think about how much work and hard work and dedication and belief in yourself it had to take to get there in the first place, and how many pieces had to fall into place, and how many people you had to convince to let you have this show. And that is one of my biggest takeaways, probably the biggest takeaway I have from the movie, was the creator of the show. His name is Lorne Michaels. He's still with the show after 50 years. 50 fucking years of a show. Like, that is so crazy. That's such an amazing feat for anything to last for 50 years. I just learned that my, the mini golf course, like the little ice cream place by my house, is closing down after 53 years. And I was like, honestly, my mom told me on the phone today earlier, and I was like, honestly, that's amazing. Like, any business that thrives for 50 plus years is a success. Like, you have to look at that as a success and not something to be, like, sad about. But it's still, of course, sad. Wow, ADHD today. But 50 years of anything is absolutely incredible. To have something run for that long and be so successful for that long and be so at the center of culture and pop culture, and who is successful in terms of artists, in terms of actors. The biggest actors go on there to promote their shows. The biggest musicians go on there to promote their new music. I believe this past weekend is Lady Gaga, who's on there to host and do the music. So she's like double duty. Everybody, they call it double duty if you're like hosting and musical guest. Everybody who's on there, they pull the biggest talent. So if you made it on SNL as an actor hosting or as a musical guest, like, that is success. You are successful, deemed as successful in the industry. And the fact that they still carry that weight and that, like, I was going to say precipice, but that's not the right word. I don't know what that means. That they carry that, like, that power 50 years in is unbelievable. And what the movie did was really showed you what it took to make happen. So this guy, Lorne Michaels, who was probably in his 20s, I'm actually going to Google that while I'm here, in his 20s when he started it, hold on, Lorne Michaels' age when he started SNL. I need an assistant. He was 30? No, that can't be. Okay, yeah, he was 30. He was 30 years old when he started the show in 1975. And literally all the odds were stacked against him. Like, nothing was supposed to work out the way it did. The way they explain it in the movie, I don't know how true it is, but I do believe this. I could also probably easily Google this and give you a concrete answer. But the way that they explain how it happened was there was kind of a beef in the network. I think it was like a husband and a wife or something. And it was kind of like a ratings beef. And Johnny Carson, who was like the Jimmy Fallon, Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Kimmel of that time on NBC, probably like one of the biggest ones, David Letterman, like, his show had some sort of ratings beef with the network, and they wanted to give somebody else the 11:30 slot on Saturday night, because he, I think, only did them Monday through Friday, and they usually run reruns on Saturday. And in the movie, they make him out to be kind of a bad guy, calling Lorne Michaels, being like, you're gonna fail, you're gonna fucking fail, like, you're gonna fail, you're gonna fucking fail, like, they're gonna run my show and not yours, like, you fucking suck. And this guy, Lorne, I just got a call from the loan people. They keep calling me. Like, how did they get my number? And this guy, Lorne, it was all started by this one guy who put together... It was all started by this one guy who pulled together a cast of talented actors and comedians all from New York, cameramen, crew, lighting, everybody that makes a show happen, and had a vision for what this could be. He kind of called it like a revolution in the TV industry, or something completely new, something never before seen, revolutionary. And he had a vision, or a half-baked vision, or a half-assed vision, whatever you want to call it. But he had an idea of something that nobody had done before, a sketch comedy show for an hour and a half that he believed was going to be successful. And with all the odds stacked against him, the idea that you are supposed to fail was put into his head by everybody around him. A lot of the network didn't believe in him. Literally, I mean, I'm sure they made it like a little bit more dramatic for the movie's sake, but like until a minute before, they didn't know if they were going to run the show or a rerun of the Johnny Carson show, which is the Jimmy Fallon type show. Everything was pointed to, you are going to fail, and he was going to go back to his day job, whatever it was, whatever he was doing before, and trying to be somebody and create something. And he had such a belief in himself, and such a belief in his vision and what he was doing, and kind of guided everybody and let them know that, like, nothing is anything until you believe in it, or until you get people to back you and believe in it. And that is my biggest takeaway from the movie, and that's kind of my biggest takeaway when I was sitting back and watching it last night. I was like, this was destined to fail. Like, nobody beside this one guy, if he didn't push for it, it was not going to happen. And that was 50 fucking years ago, and now that show is such an institution, all because of this one guy's belief in himself, this one guy's idea that I am going to succeed, and I'm going to make something of myself, and I'm going to be somebody that people look up to and are inspired by, and I'm gonna make this show a success, or I'm going to go down trying. Those two things. I'm believe in myself so much that I'm gonna make it happen, or I'm gonna go down trying. And they kept saying in the movie, you're not ready for it to go live tonight. Shit was falling out of the sky, like there were fires, shit was breaking, actors were leaving, people were getting in like fist fights. It was mayhem. People were doing immense amounts of drugs, which I know is true, by the way, about SNL. Like, people are just doing cocaine everywhere. Like, it was crazy. It was, SNL used to be, I mean, I'm sure it still is, but like, was like drug city. Like, it was just like clown town, actors and people who like just wanted to be somebody and trying to put on this show. It was literally a literal clown town. And I forgot where I was going with that because the drugs distracted me. He like, what the fuck was I saying? I don't know. Oh my god. Oh, no, I don't know. Fuck, what was I saying? I have no idea. I'll just continue with something different. I forgot what I was saying because of the drugs, but he was rallying, not my drugs, the drugs, he was rallying these people around him, around this vision that no one even knew what it was. They were like, well, you have this show, you have an hour and a half, how are you going to do live for an hour and a half? And he did it, and he made it happen. And that became what we know is Saturday Night Live. Obviously, it's a well-oiled, well-run machine now, but everything is scrappy to start. Everything is nothing until it becomes something. Everything is half-assed, half-baked, not ready to go until, oh, this last what I was going to say, that they kept saying to him, like, it's not ready tonight. Let's put it till next Saturday. Let's try again next Saturday, next week. And if he had done that, who knows if it would have ever gone live. If he had said, you know what, like, you're right, let's try again next Saturday, let's scrap it for tonight, and we'll try again. 1,000 other things could have happened in that time that led to it not actually ever happening. So the fact that he pushed through and was like, no, we have to make this happen right now. He told them that they never pre-recorded the tape, so they couldn't actually ever run the other show, which I don't know if it was true or not either. But it kind of reminded me that, like, so many of us are hesitant to start and put ourselves, like, take ourselves off of the climb before we've even started climbing. We take ourselves off of an idea or out of an idea before we've actually dove into it, or dove into the idea. We tell ourselves so many things and speak so negatively to ourselves about an idea we have, or about a passion we have, or about something we want to do, and tell ourselves all the ways we are going to fail, that it is not going to be successful, that it's not going to happen, that people aren't going to listen, that people aren't going to believe in it, that people aren't going to believe in me, that we end up not believing in ourselves, and we take ourselves out of the idea before we've actually even tried. And that reminded me, that really stuck with me from watching the movie last night, that if he didn't believe in himself and he said, you know what, let's try next week, and he put it off, then it would have kept getting put off. And if he had said, you know what, like, everybody else doesn't believe in me, so like, why should I believe in myself? It wouldn't have happened. And if he had said any of those things, if he had done any of those things that everybody else was saying, don't believe in yourself, because you're not anybody. You're not a success. Like, why would you be a success? How can this little kid, this 30-year-old kid who has done nothing, who seemingly put nothing together, how can that person create something? How can an idea become successful without the person who believes in it? And someone's knocking. If he had listened to all of those voices, the actual people telling him it's not going to work, and not his own intuition, his own belief, his own confidence in himself, he would have never made anything. And we would have never heard of SNL, and it wouldn't become what it is today. It wouldn't be at the center of all of culture, and it wouldn't be made, like, if he had listened to all of those voices and everybody around him literally telling him, you are going to fail, this is not going to succeed, you are going to be nothing, why would you be something? If he had listened to all of them, all these external sources and people, and not believed in himself and had the confidence in himself to do it, we would never even have heard of SNL. It wouldn't have existed. Nothing is anything until somebody believes in it, until somebody has the determination and the passion and the belief to make it. And I think that is true for everybody in anything they're doing. It could be looking for a job and taking yourself out of that because you don't believe you can find a new job, and you have such an imposter syndrome about your success and about your skill set that you don't believe you're right for that job, so you don't even apply. You take yourself out of it before you apply because of all those voices in your head of the people telling you you're not good enough for it. You don't end up asking that person out on the date because you've told yourself they're already going to reject me, they don't like me, I'm not attractive enough for them, they're too attractive for me, they would always say no, why would they even ever say yes to me? So you take yourself out of the situation to ever ask them out, and you never know. And all these things, we don't follow our passion. We don't start playing guitar because we think our friends will judge us for picking up a random passion or hobby and judge us for trying something new and potentially failing. We don't start an Instagram account of things we want to post, or a TikTok account of videos that you want to post, because you believe your friends are going to judge you before they even ever judged you, before you even started it, so you never start it. There's so many things we take ourselves out of before you don't start putting your thoughts out on the internet, because you think people are going to judge you for them and read them the wrong way and talk about them behind your back and talk to people about them, so you never put them out and you never do anything about it before you've even done it and people have done anything about it. Like, we tell ourselves all these things, and what I'm saying is a little bit different than the movie. So in the movie, he had all these people telling him you're going to fail and this is going to be a fuck up. But we do that to ourselves so quickly and so often every single day about so many different things without the external sources, without the people saying it to us. We say it to ourselves. So how can we do anything and believe in ourselves and be confident if we always have that negative voice inside our head telling us that you're going to fail and they're not going to like you and you're not going to be accepted and you're not going to get the job and all these things before we even actually try? And it inspired me a ton. It inspired me a lot last night watching it, because if that kid had stopped believing in himself, it would have never happened. Similarly, when I was watching the Bob Dylan movie with Timothée Chalamet, it's called A Complete Unknown. I highly recommend both of these movies, by the way. I really loved both of them. If he hadn't believed that he had any talent, we would have never heard of Bob Dylan. If he had stopped playing in small bars in the East Village and the West Village, where the audiences were 20 people, less, and said, I don't have a big enough audience, nobody's listening to me, nobody likes me, why should I even try? We would never hear of that person. And I think I'm so attracted to these things that are like the start of successes, because and I think I'm so attracted to these things that are like the start of successful things because we don't hear a lot about how somebody became the person they are. And you don't see that picture painted a lot of how that person started. Even when you're hearing a successful person talk about how they became successful or how they got to where they are, they're already in a place of success, and it's almost impossible to look back at that person of who you used to be, of when you were making a podcast on the couch before. Hi.
Hey,
how are you?
Sorry.
No, you're good. I didn't know you were coming back early.
What? Yeah, my bad.
No, I don't care. It's hard to look back at that person. It's hard to look back at that person. When you're already successful, it's hard to look back at that person who's podcasting from the couch, or who's writing songs on the floor, or who's typing a book on their computer while sitting on their bed, or who hasn't had that success yet. It's hard to put yourself back in that mindset of when you were grinding and when it was a constant, like, back and forth of, will this work, will this not work, should I try, should I not try, are people going to judge me, do people like this, people hate this, like, all of these thoughts back and forth in your head. And I believe that everybody listening probably has something that they've wanted to try that they haven't because they've told themselves they can't. And that's why I love these stories so much about the start of it all, because it puts you back in that perspective of the person who might have thought they couldn't do it, or probably didn't think they could do it, but nevertheless persisted and kept going, even with that thought in the back of their head, or even with those thoughts of it's not going to work and I'm still going to try regardless. I'm going to try and I'm going to try and try until I can no longer try. And I can almost guarantee that every single person listening right now has something that they've wanted to do that they have stopped themselves from doing because they got the idea that they were going to fail, or they were going to be judged for it, or people were going to look at them differently because of, or laugh at, or talk about behind their backs, and all these things that we think about and we put in our own heads before we even do it. And those two movies really solidified that for me, and are kind of like North Stars to keep going. I'm at a point in my career right now, in terms of my real job, not the podcast, in terms of my actual day job, that I work at a startup. And the nature of startups is volatile. You kind of never know what's going to happen with a startup. Like, you know the runway, which means like how much time the company has left before the CEO or the team has to like find more money or get more investors to have more runway, to have more time that the company can try to succeed. And where we're at in terms of the company, like, it's a startup, so I don't even actually know the answer to that question of like how much time the startup has until they have to raise more money. I wish I knew, but that's kind of what I'm trying to say, is that like you never know at the company I'm at, like, if it's going to be if you're going to have your job in a year or two. And I kind of got, like, a little existential about that recently. I was like, oh shit, like, and I kind of got a little, like, anxious about that recently, where I was like, oh shit, like, And I kind of got anxious recently about that, where I was like, I left my last job after about a year and a half to join this one, and I don't know if it's gonna be like a long haul job. I don't even know if I want it to be a long haul job. So like, I think at the point we're at, I think we're at the point a lot of us are at in our careers, we are at the stage where we don't know if we are a success or not. And most of us probably feel like we're not yet, and are not at a place where we feel successful yet, or feel like we have a path yet, or know what the fuck we're doing yet. And watching these two movies helped me have a little bit of a clearer vision about that, and that it's okay not to know, and it's normal not to feel like you know what you're doing, or have a clear path ahead, or feel successful at this age yet. And I don't think we have to feel that yet. I mean, we're 20, we're young, we're everybody... And we don't have to know that yet, and I think about this stuff a lot, probably more than I should or that I'm supposed to, that, like, and I think about this stuff a lot, probably more than I'm supposed to or should, about the starting line, and about where we're currently at in our careers. Whether you're listening and you're still in college, or just out of college, or in your mid-20s, or late 20s, or early 30s, I think this applies to everybody in that group. And I still believe that we are all at what I'm calling the starting line. And what that means is we're early in our careers, or early enough that it's still okay not to completely know what you want to do, or who you want to be, or what career you want to go into, or if you're successful or not, or if you have been successful or not. And I think that, as I said before, nothing is anything until people believe in it, and nobody is anybody until you believe in yourself. And nobody is anybody until you believe in yourself and convince others to do the same. And nobody is anybody until you believe in yourself and convince others to do the same. And I think that's kind of the point of this episode, and the point of what I'm trying to say is that you are the only person that can measure your success, or determine your success, or decide your success. If you believe you have been successful in your career up until now, great, then you have been. Like, if you feel at this point in your career that you're in a job you're happy in, you're in an industry you're happy in, you feel like you're progressing toward where you want to go, I think that's successful. And if you feel the complete opposite, that you have no fucking idea what you want to do, and you feel like you're completely lost, and you think everybody else has it around you, and... Sorry, I burped. And that everybody else around you has it, and that you just have... You're still at the starting line. Like, how am I still at the starting line when it seems like everybody else is moving, and everybody else has started to run, and I'm still here? You can look at it two ways. You can view this time, the starting line, as shitty or cool. You have the opportunity to view this either way, shitty or cool. We can look at it as, how will I ever get to where I want to be from where I'm at right now? How will I ever be successful? How will I ever find what I want to do? How will I ever find the career or the trajectory or the path I want to be on? Because I feel so far off from it right now. What the fuck am I doing? I feel like I'm going to lose my job. I feel like I'm going to get fired. I feel like I want to quit. What the fuck am I doing? Like, how do I know what I'm going to do? What am I going to do? Like, all of those thoughts. You can choose to live in that, or You can look at it as, I have the opportunity to try right now. I have the opportunity to figure out where I want to go. I'm at the starting line. And that's fine. I can go anywhere from here. I can start running, and then I can decide that that's the wrong path and run back and go back to the starting line. I can start running and then take a different path from that run, and that's great too. And you can live at the starting line in two ways. You can say, am I always going to be stuck here? Am I always going to be at a place where I don't know what the fuck I'm doing? Or you can live there thinking, alright, cool, I have an opportunity to try now. Okay, like, let's see what this does for me. Let's see if this kind of invigorates me and I feel excited about what I'm doing, or I feel like I at least have a path. There's two different types of people at the starting line, and you have an opportunity to pick which one you are. You can be both of them at different days, at different weeks, at different months. You can be both of them today. But just know that you can pick one of them, and you don't have to live in either of them. And you have the choice. It all kind of comes from within. That belief thing I'm talking about from that movie, and that belief and that confidence in yourself that I'm talking about in general, it all starts from within. It starts from you. And I think Lorne Michaels and Bob Dylan are incredible examples of that. It all starts from within, and it all starts from you. If you believe in yourself, others will too. If you see yourself as confident and successful, others will too. But if you don't, and you don't believe in yourself, and you live in this land of, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, I don't know who I am, I don't know what I'm going to do, I don't know who I'm going to be, I don't know any of these things, you will come off that way, and people will see you that way. And you have a choice to be either of those people and live at the starting line as either of those people. Because right now, where we are in the trajectory of our lives, whether you like it or not, you're still at the starting line. From the ages I was just talking about, if you're before college, if you're in college, if you're sometime in your 20s, early, middle, late, beginning of 30s even, I'm going to extend it as far as that, you're still at the starting line, whether you like it or not. And you have the choice to live in shitty or cool. You have the choice to believe that you can do whatever the fuck you want and figure it out, and that it's going to work out, and you're going to be successful, and you're going to be confident, and you're going to believe in yourself. Or you can just decide that this fucking sucks and I have no idea what I'm going to do. The choice is yours. Let me know if there's anybody else like Lorne Michaels or Bob Dylan who inspires you, who you kind of see yourself in, or... And I'm picking those two people because they're so incredibly different. And I think I'm comparing those two people because they're so incredibly different and because their career trajectories are so different. One guy went on to create the most successful sketch comedy show in history, and the other guy became a really successful artist and is now a recluse and still... And the other guy became one of America's most successful artists. And it both stemmed from believing in themselves stacked up against all the odds, and with everybody else telling them that they can't and they're not good enough and they don't sound like everybody else and that what they're doing isn't going to work. It all came from within. And I look to those two people as big sources of inspiration. And watching these two success stories, or you can't really call them success stories at the beginning because they're not, especially Saturday Night, the movie, it is not a success story. It's a fucking mess, and that's why I loved it so much, because I think a lot of us, most of us, all of us are in that mess right now, and that is kind of like what the starting line represents. It's not supposed to be perfect, but you have to start before you're ready. You have to start at the line and just go sometimes. And as I said, there's two types of people. You can live in the shitty and you can stay at the line and stay back there and stay anxious and worried and not knowing what's going to happen or what you're going to do and just stay there. Or you can go and live in that cool and think, all right, I'm going to try. And I'm going to try and I'm going to fail and I'm going to do it, and whatever happens next happens. Those two guys those two movies, Saturday Night, A Complete Unknown, are the starting line, but those two guys said, all right, I'm going to go. Against all odds, against all you motherfuckers, I'm going to go. And I love it. I think that's exactly what I'm looking for in... I love it. I love those types of stories. And if you haven't watched either of those movies yet, if you've watched both... And if you haven't watched either of those movies... And if you haven't watched either of those movies yet, I highly, highly recommend watching them, and let me know what you think. Write in to me and let me know what you think. You can DM me at theguyset, TheGuiset, on Instagram, and let me know your thoughts, or you can email me. It's josh@guyset.com, josh@guyset.com. I'd love to hear what you think. And who else inspires you? Who else has those stories like at the starting line and goes and you look at as a source of inspiration, or somebody that you want to be like and inspires you to keep going and do your thing, even when people don't believe in you, even when you don't believe in yourself. They show you that you can and you should. That is the episode. Thank you so much for listening to Guy Said, a guy's guide to what should be talked about. I'm Josh. I'm 24 years old, and I'm here every single Tuesday to talk about what should be talked about for guys in their 20s. If you like this podcast, please like some. If you like this podcast, I really hope you did. Please like, subscribe. If you like this podcast, I really hope you did. Please like, subscribing to this podcast. 5 stars, leave a review. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, not 4, not 3, not 2, and 1. It's 5 stars. Thank you so much. You can follow me on Guyset at theguyset.com. Wait, what? You can follow me on Guyset, Instagram, shit. You can follow me on Instagram at theguyset. Oh my god, Jesus. You can follow me on Instagram at theguyset, TheGuiset. You can watch this full episode on YouTube. It's Guyset. You can find me on my website, everything. Everything is on my website at oh my god. You can find me on Instagram at theguyset, TheGuiset, or on YouTube, Spotify. You can find this podcast everywhere. Listen to podcast. It is on YouTube. You can watch it. It's The Guy Said on YouTube. You can follow me on Instagram at theguyset, TheGuiset, and everything is on my website, guyset.com, Guyset.com. If you want to talk about that should be talked about, if you have anything you want to talk about that should be talked about for guys in their 20s, send it to my email. It's josh@guyset.com, or to my... If you have anything you want to talk about that should be talked about for guys in their... If you have anything you want to talk about that should be talked about for guys in their 20s, send it to my email. It's dearguyset@gmail.com, DEARGUISET at... Wait, what? Oh, yeah. If you have anything you want to talk about that should be talked about for guys in their 20s, send it to my email. It's dearguyset@gmail.com, DEARGUISET@gmail.com, and I will add it to my next Dear Guyset episode, or I'll make it a full episode like this. Thank you so much for listening to Guyset, a guy's guide. Thank you so much for listening to Guyset, a guy's guide to what should be talked about, and I will see you guys next Tuesday. See you guys. Oh, I should have fixed my hair before I did that. Okay, whatever. Bye.